And we are live, believers. Welcome to Call In Show number 30. We have done 30 of these lovely little gatherings, which is, that's probably not a huge number for the ladies I'm joined by tonight, who are absolute fiends when it comes to their live streams. They are, I would like to say, they're like pretty online famous when it comes to what they do. And tonight I am joined by the forever amazing Anne and Renata from the Frightfully Good, and also one of my favorite podcasts, the True Hauntings podcast.
Yay!
Hi, thank you,
Yes.
Kate. How are you?
I'm very good.
How are
It's
you?
it's so good. It's so good to have you guys on. It's been a little while since we caught up and had a chat. So I always get very excited when I see your live streams come on. And
Oh, it's understandable.
I'm gonna really embarrass my wife here. She is the biggest fan of you two.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
We'll
Yeah.
send her a mug.
I was going to say, we'll have to send her a
We'll send her
mug.
a pack. We'll send
We'll
her
get her a
something, Kate.
Frightfully good shit pack or
Yeah.
something. Oh, are we allowed to swear? Sorry.
Yes. Yeah. Everything's everything goes. Everything
all
goes.
right.
You know, we're all adults. We're all grown up, and we're all Aussies. So it's just part of our culture to embrace the I think the curse words. I think let's run wild with it.
We'll put a
So,
cussing.
They're words of empowerment.
That's right.
yeah, exactly. So look, tonight we're doing something a little bit different. So it's kind of a bit of a mixed bag. So we're doing the call-in line is open. So if you either have a story that you want to share, or you have a question for Anna, Renata, or myself, or because we're joined by these lovely ladies who know how to read tarot, they're gonna be reading people's tarot cards live on the air with their own branded cards, which I think is so amazing. I need to get a deck of those off you. I think they're the coolest.
They'll be in your pack.
Lovely.
We'll make sure we do that.
We'll put them in your bag.
Nice. We'll have to do like a goodie swap over, I reckon.
I think that's a deal.
That's
Yeah.
I
awesome.
believe you've got coffee now, haven't you?
Oh, I do. Yeah. So if you guys have a coffee machine, I'll send you a couple of bags actually.
Oh, we are coffee addicts.
Yeah. I think you have to be when you're in this field. It's
yeah.
And you know what? Ever since becoming a dad of two under three, coffee just if you cut me open right now, I won't bleed. It would just be like black coffee pouring out of me. It's just how
Hello, brother. Hello, brother.
And you know what? I'm going to use this as a really good example for me to just spruce the coffee on the live stream. So, if anyone does want to get the coffee, you use 10%. You use the promo code BELIEVE and you get 10% off all your orders. So give that a go. And actually, the coffee is super cheap already. So it's
I've had an idea.
Yeah.
You know how they have in Africa or whatever it is, those animals that eat the coffee beans and then they poop them out?
Oh, yeah. This is exactly what this is.
You could do a special brand
of yowie beans that have been pooped out.
Yeah.
You could sell those for like $100 a bag.
You'd be rich.
Easy. And what it is when you drink the coffee, you just become instantly blurry on camera.
Absolutely. I think something more than that would become instantly blurry. But
I think so. So yes. Look, the lines are open. Just better make sure I've actually got the phone connected. So yes, the number is on the screen. It's 0730403096. If you do want to call up and get your tarot read on a live call, so we do have that option. But if you are a little bit shy, we do have the ability to take your questions from the chat. So if you want to do it that way, we can do that too.
Don't be brave, people. Ring.
Yeah, ring. We want to hear some juicy questions. Now, the only thing that is off limits tonight for the questions, the ladies have said it is absolutely open, apart from any medical related questions, because we're not doctors.
Exactly.
We're not doctors at all. So how's your podcast going, guys? Just while we wait. It's I'm a really big fan of your show because I love the way that you guys kind of go into everything with, you are doing a historical retelling of things, but it's in your flavor, and your flavor is just so unique.
It's chaotic. Yeah, we have a little sort of the podcast is called True Hauntings, and it's where we as paranormal investigators look at famous cases or well-known hauntings or reported hauntings that are in the media, and we dig down into the history behind it. First off, we go into the history of the location itself, then we go into the actual haunting, who has reported it, what was the phenomena. Did any of those people have anything to gain from having a haunting at their location? Did the people who come in to help them have anything to gain? And it's really almost like a case of True Detectives, where we are trying to weed out what is truly paranormal phenomena and what might be just a bit of a furphy. And then we tell it, and of course Renata will say words, and then I have a very naughty sense of humour. So if she says something, then I'll throw something back at her, and then she's wheezing and can't breathe, and then I start to giggle, and it's just on. It's on for young and old.
Because we do look, we've done each of us have done our portion of research, and Anne's really passionate about the ghost stories. I'm really passionate about the history, and so we sort of are throwing things out there at each other, and it's really like sitting and listening to us have a conversation about a case, and going, this is what I think, this is what I think, this is a whole lot of bullshit. Oh yeah, I can see how that matches that, and and all of this sort of stuff, and we talk about different cases that we've done and the overlaps that we see between other cases and the case we might be working on. And really, it's whatever tickles our fancy more than anything is what we are looking at. Because, I mean, it's got to be interesting to us, because other than that, we'll just make it sound boring. So we've got to be in there going, oh, look, I found this bit of information. This will blow your mind. And we talk about that. And we're always trying to look at finding bits of information that haven't been told before, because you would know well, looking at all the different stories that you look at, Kay, that when you're looking at information, you're seeing the same thing over and over and over. It's like someone has literally cut and pasted, and there's nothing new. So sometimes it takes a really long time to dig underneath all of that and to find a really juicy piece of information that people haven't heard about a lot.
Yeah, and that's what I love about it. It's just different from everything else, because there's tons of shows out there that do historical retellings and stuff like that, but they just don't have any real heart or passion to it, because you can tell it's just like so scripted. This is just what we're doing this week because it's what we're doing, and you guys are fully into everything that you talk about. Like, I don't think there's been one where it's like, they sound a bit flat. Never.
We've faked it well then, Renata. There have been times where we have been like up till the wee hours the night before trying to finish it off, because we've been so busy during the week with everything that's been on that we just haven't been able to put the research into it that we wanted to. So we're pulling things together at the last minute, or then we discover that the day out that there's not enough guts to this story to make it worthwhile telling. And that's happened a few times.
It has.
Because they've got us putting out one a week, and it takes many hours to pull this together. We've run ragged.
We have gotten to 2 or 3 days of research, and I've gone, or Anne's gone, this doesn't say anything to me. I just don't feel it here, or there's not enough. And you get really picky when you do these things, and you go, I've got to be entertained by this. I've got to be able to listen back and go, I'm happy to listen to this story. And if 15 minutes in I'm lost and I've gone, this sounds just boring, this all crap, I'm not going to deliver it, because I know that other people will feel the same way.
No, that's good. And I think that's the best way to be because, if you haven't got the genuine passion for it, it shows. And, there's, for me, just personally, I would hate to put something out into the world that, didn't one, do my guests justice. Two, it seemed like I wasn't interested in what they were saying or anything like that. So,
Yeah,
it's really important that, that you do go that extra mile because it does make the world's biggest difference.
yeah. And like we as you want longevity in this process. We don't want to have a year of doing a podcast and then go, can't be bothered.
Yeah.
What we want to be in this game for a while. So we've got to continually give it our best for our listeners to be there and keep listening in.
For sure.
So,
Yeah, absolutely. So we do have a question. We do have a
okay.
question for a reading. So I'm going to put it up on the screen, and I don't know if you guys can see it or not. So you tell me. But oh my gosh, so many people are chatting on here. It kind of
Don't you love how we had a very funny thing happen last night where we went live on our show and we were chatting. We couldn't get the Facebook feeds to work. StreamYard seemed to be playing up and we got YouTube working. So we were chatting for 20 minutes and they were having a great time chatting amongst each other and they seemed to be talking to us, but then we'd ask them to do something specific and nobody was answering our question. And then somebody else came on and said, I can't see or hear anything. And we suddenly realized that we hadn't gone live. So that the whole community for 20 minutes had been talking amongst themselves, but for some unknown reason, we weren't part of it. But that shows a great community. It does show a great community.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Oh, we've got
So-
Michelle Fell.
Yes, Michelle Fell. So she wants to get a career reading.
Now, we should explain something before we start. Renata is a very talented and gifted tarot reader. She has studied this for many years, decades, and centuries, may I say, and actually does this for a living. I read the frightfully good Naughty and Nice oracle cards that we created, and I make it up as I go along. But somehow or other, people go, no, you're spot on. So let's see what happens tonight. Am I full of shit or is this going to be a good night? Oh, we're blunt. Very blunt.
Okay, Michelle. Here is your card. So I've shuffled the cards. I've taken the card that is off the top.
Not that card.
And you have the Eight of Pentacles, which is an awesome work card, actually. So if you're talking about a career, this is an awesome one to get. But there's one thing that you have to remember, Michelle. This may mean that you have to start over completely and start again. And certainly rethink your positioning and how you see your career spanning out over a long period of time. So what you need to work on at the moment is a game plan for yourself. What do I want to see myself being and doing in 5 years' time and in 10 years' time? And if you can imagine...
You mean plan?
Sorry?
You mean plan?
Plan, yeah, plan. If you can see yourself... If you can see yourself doing that and at the end have this picture where you're saying, I'm happy doing that, it will come easy. Yeah. But this is a card, this is a work card. It means doubling down, head down, backside up, and
my best position.
Really, 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 really putting all your effort into making this stuff happen. Now, when you say career means you have chosen to do this. A job is really the what you get for the end product, which is, so I'm just going to do anything. I'm just going to have a job. Really, not that much of a connection. But a career is something you're choosing to do, follow through with, and advance in. So just be aware of that, Michelle, when you sit down and you really have a think about it.
I was getting RSI from shuffling. She was taking so long.
Sorry.
Okay, so
I'm trying to kind of...
Michelle, I'm just got your turn. Not your turn.
I'm making a big effort here.
Yeah, you try and make a
so
good
that
impression.
people think we're fair dinkum.
Not that card.
Not that card.
Michelle, I'm calling in your ancestors, your spirits, and the nymphs that are out there to give you a message in regards to your career. Oh, okay. Stop telling yourself the same old story. If things aren't working out the way you want them to, then do something about it. Are you sitting there going, I don't like my current job, I don't like what I'm doing, I'm sure I could do better, but you're doing nothing about it? You've got to get off your backside and do something if you want to change. Love from the naughty aunties. Next.
I love it. This is great. And you know what? The chat has just lit up with questions now because it just takes one to break the back there. So
yeah, we're not love and light shit. There's no love and light shit
There's no
here.
love and light in this here. No, nothing. Forget it.
All right. Let's move on to another one here. So here we go. So these are coming from Facebook and YouTube. So if you have a funny username on YouTube, it will just show up funny on here. So apologies if we don't know your name, if we're pulling it from there. So one Burgo 7, can I please just have a general reading? Need some direction.
Okay. The direction is over there.
Yeah, and
That
I
way.
say go that way.
That way.
Okay, you're welcome.
Thank
That's
you.
$90. Thank
Thank
you.
Oh, no.
He wants to know, or he or she wants to know if they're on the right path.
Oh, Jesus Christ. All right. So you have the Justice card, one Virgo, and the Justice card is kind of like it's all about me card. It's all about me. I want my fair share. It's not fair. I want things to be right for me. It's got to suit me down to the ground. I have big images in my head about where I want to be and what I want to do. And as Anne said in the last card, what are you doing about it? So we can get bamboozled about thinking too wide and giving ourselves too many problems and too many what ifs. So you've got to really chunk that down and go, what's my main direction? What do I want to do? What do I want to see in my life? And think about what kind of career you can have, or what will give you joy and happiness. So in the end, that's what you're after, joy and happiness, something that's going to make you happy. So if you're stuck there, think about the things that don't make you happy, and then just think the reverse. So you know that X doesn't make you happy, Y doesn't make you happy, Z doesn't make you happy. Okay, what's the reverse of that? And that will lead you and give you a better sign of what is truly going to light you up and keep you entertained for the rest of your life.
All right, one Burgo 7. I'm going for it. It's either Burgot. I Burgot. Maybe that's what it is. Direction. All right. If you were going to, spirit guides, if you were going to give this person a kick in the pants for the message right now, what would it be? Give them some direction. Oh, this is my favorite card. All right. Hurt is wasted energy. To heal, you've got to realize your partner. You're too busy looking over your shoulder at the moment going, they hurt me. I've still got scars and wounds from everything that's happened to me in the past, and I can't let it go. You've got to let it go, because if you don't start looking forward, you're going to trip over the bloody log in front of you and fall flat on your face. So stop being hurt about shit that's happened in the past. Let it go. Move forward. Have a better life because of it. Love from the naughty aunties.
I love it. It's just stop being soft.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have a lot of people kind of just asking like general, like I need some direction type of questions. Do you want something like a little bit more?
Yeah, give us some
meaty,
more.
something to hang on to?
Give us something gritty.
God,
We've got one about Tesla Motors wants to make in the shed produce enough power to more than self-sufficient.
This whole thing about generalization is where we all get it wrong, because the more general we are and the more non-specific we are, the more we are fearful of actually committing to whatever comes up and you're being told to do, right? So, just a general thing. Just give me something general. No, tell me what your fucking problem is, all right, so I can deal with it. Not
I like that.
shit.
I think that's as good as it's going to get, because we got a lot of people looking for some general questions here, and I think they just need to suck it up a little bit and get to the juicy part of what they want to know, because
what's the real deal, what's really going on. And that's the hard thing. People often refuse to to do that. And I know when people come in for a reading and they say, oh, you just tell me what's coming up. And for me, that's a red flag to say there's a real problem here.
Yeah.
And we're just looking at a way of getting to it so that you actually say it. So
I shouldn't have to tell you what I need to know. You're the psychic medium. You're meant to know.
I know.
You just tell me.
I know.
You should have known I was going to ask that
away.
question.
Yeah.
All right. We have one here that okay, this is interesting. So this is kind of like repetition. So I don't know how this kind of fits into what you think about the paranormal and stuff like that. But Sarah asks, hey, lovely ladies, what's the spirit world say about me? And why do I see 9/11, 6/11, 7/11, anything 11 past the hour for the last 3 years? Now, I'm just going to tack on something here. My wife sees this all the time too.
Okay, that's because you've trained your brain to see 11. All we need is a piece. All we need is a piece of information that we hear, and our brain goes, "Oh,
I need to look out for that.
That's really interesting." Oh, and then something in your brain goes, "Ping! She likes that bit of information. We'll keep showing you that bit of information anywhere we possibly can." So all of a sudden, you're seeing 11s everywhere, and of course, then the more you're seeing 11, the more your brain looks out for 11, right? Anywhere and everywhere. And you'll go in the most weird and wonderful ways. But that's how brilliant our mind is and the way our subconscious mind works. So we have a great powerhouse here in our head, and we can program it to do amazing things. We've just got to learn how to do it and stop wasting this amazing piece of hardware that we have. But yeah, really. It's
like when you go and buy a Toyota Land Cruiser, and you didn't think there were many people that had one that was in bright orange, and all of a sudden you start to see bright orange Land Cruisers everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because your brain has been made aware of the orange Land Cruisers as something special to you. So before, they would have driven past and you wouldn't have even noticed them, but now, because your brain knows it's something special to look for, it's going to point them out. And you've got to think, how many times do you look at your watch every day, or your phone, or clocks around the room to look at the time? You subconsciously look at it, keep going, and it's not an 11 at the end of it. So it's only your brain will only go, hey, look, it's the 11. Take note when it is that moment, because you've said 11's important.
And I'm going to add something to the end of that, Sarah. Some people do believe that 11s have a very spiritual message, and your task then, if you believe that, is to work out what that message is, because that is then why you continue to see this 11 and continue to keep asking yourself, why am I seeing 11? Because again, our mind wants to solve problems. So it will continue showing you 11 until you work out what that 11 is supposed to mean for you and do something about it. And then you'll probably find you don't see 11 anymore. So if you believe that there is a message behind 11, work out what that message is, go solve the problem, go do it, and then you won't have the issue with 11 coming up anymore for you.
And look, this is only our opinion. Other people will disagree, and that's okay.
Yeah, no, I think that's great. And, I think that's really good advice that, it's just really good general advice. So thank you, Sarah, for writing in.
Thank you, Sarah.
So we do have one from Kylie Batten. Why am I stuck?
Hi, Kylie. Welcome.
Okay, well, I'll choose a card for you, Kylie. But stuckness is when we are in overwhelm and when we feel that we have too many problems and issues to deal with. And we become, it's like the Two of Swords. So if you look at the tarot deck and you see the Two of Swords, that's your stuck card. That sort of says everything I think about or everything I do is not going to solve my problems. So I'm just going to add to them by thinking more rather than actually stepping out and doing something so that I can change my parameters, so I can look at life from a different viewpoint. And so a lot of things get us stuck. And some people will go, why are you stuck? Why can't you see a way out in this? And the thing is, it's because it's happening to you. So think about it in one way. If your best friend sat down and said, I'm stuck and these are my issues, you would probably sit down and go, that's so easy, I can work that out. You do this, this, and this, and this. But you can't do it for yourself. That's because you've personalized the whole thing and your fear level is up with regard to making
She will eventually draw you a card.
One step forward and do something. And the Page of Pentacles is the card you have.
Oh,
and this is about self-reliance, Kylie. So maybe you don't have a lot of really good empowerment in that self-reliance part of your life, where you've been given opportunities to be self-reliant. The page is always a seeker. He's always a learner, always wanting to strive out there and do more and gets excited about life. So once again, maybe there is no excitement for you at the moment, or you're not thinking about things that are exciting because it's too far-fetched, right? So you have to stretch those parameters and be like the page, who kind of finds fun in everything and looks at it like through a child's eyes and goes, oh, I'm going to work this out. This is going to be fun. This is going to be fun. And your mantra should be, everything will be okay. So wake up every morning and that's the first thing you say to yourself, everything will be okay. And you will find within a week you will be unstuck. Sorry, I have a counselling diploma. That's what I do.
I don't. Why is Kylie stuck? Cards? Spirit guides, universal energies? All right, your card from me is, okay. So the reason why you're stuck is because you don't know whether you should listen to the logic of your brain or listen to your heart. So are you going to follow your head or are you going to listen to your heart? You have to make the decision, and then once you've made the decision, stick to it. So either follow the logic of the situation and do what is meant to be done logically. It's the best thing to do. Or follow your passion and think, this is what gives me joy. This is what gives me excitement in life. I need to follow that to bring that joy into my life. You have to take a step forward and choose one or the other. So I got the answer.
I have a fantastic question lined up here, and this is one that no cards needed. This is a good discussion piece.
Hi, ladies.
Can you communicate with Yowies?
I don't
Now,
know.
I think they might be referring in a more spiritual sense.
Oh, they don't want to know, can us personally communicate with Yowies?
Yeah, or have you ever heard of anyone
look like
doing
a Yowie.
I've never tried.
Yowies are not my area of expertise. I can only report what other people have said about Yowies, and there's so many different things and different stories that people say they can communicate telepathically. I think until we actually get hold of one and try, we're not really going to know. But there's plenty of studies to say that humans can communicate telepathically.
Yeah, it's
I
not,
don't know.
it's not our field of endeavour. It's not really our experience, the Yowie thing. We do have friends who really do a lot of work with that, and Kate, you've met a couple of them. But
Attila.
Yeah, Attila and his whole crew there. It's not our thing. So I can't.
We deal with dead people.
Yeah, I can't lie and say, yeah, I know what to do, because I don't.
No, that's fair enough. It's something that is brought up more often with a like a Sasquatch encounter or something like that, where people claim that they can hear the Yowie, or sorry, the Sasquatch talking in their head, and they call it kind of they call it like mind speak in the Sasquatch world. And yeah, just it's super interesting because it makes you wonder if that's like a technology thing or if that's like a spiritual or a genuine kind of psychic ability that these things might have. But this does lead on to another question that Shannon has asked, because have you ever heard of what C5 is?
Yep.
Yes, we participated in one.
Okay. And what was your experience with that, knowing what you do know?
Well, it was right at the start of COVID when they'd shut down the airports and things like that. So it was a great night for us. That's where they're using the tones, isn't it? The woo, woo, woo sounds.
I think
and then you've got to vector in. you call out to them and invite them to come in, and then you've got to visualize a map in your head, and there's tones are going out everywhere, and you've got to give them a very specific location on where you are. And they all got very excited at one stage after we left, because it got very cold after several hours sitting out in the paddock. Um, I didn't see anything that was incredibly convincing. Did you?
Not that particular night, but that's not to say that things
yeah.
don't happen. It just didn't happen that particular night for us, and we were in a spot that is allegedly quite a hot spot for those things to happen. So you know, it's one of those things that we would love to do again, but like we said, COVID shut everything down at that stage, and we only really had one go at it.
And as for communicating with ETs, there is a school of thought that the entities or the spirits that we communicate with the other side could possibly be ETs. So if they are, then yes, we can communicate with ETs, because we have been.
Yeah, it's something that my mind kind of got blown by a mate of mine, and he was telling me that, like, I guess the human element in the world of, you know, UFOs, ETs, and the paranormal is the thing that kind of decides what you're experiencing. Doesn't necessarily mean that's exactly what you're experiencing, because he said what's the difference between an orb you see in the sky to an orb you see in the house? Like, one is just automatically classed as UFO, and the other one's classed as something spiritual in the house. Yes.
And it's because of your bias. So it's 100%. What you're being trained in. So if you're being trained that this, and this equals this, then somebody comes along and says, no, that's wrong. I've been taught this, and this equals this. They're both right. That's in their bias. But what is the actual correct answer? Who knows?
Yeah, exactly. It's and the thing is that, like, all of these encounters, they're so personal too. So it always just comes down to how that person interpreted it, because you'll have people, and you will do this because you do these ghost tours almost weekly, where you'll have you know, multiple people who would have the same experience, but they would interpret them completely differently.
Yeah. And it is their personal experience, and you know, as much as we can say, well, it's probably this, or you know, I didn't hear that, or whatever, from our perspective, that's not what's happening to them at that stage. And so we kind of have to work through what's going on for them, and just make sure that they're okay with it, and sort of leave it at that. Everyone is at different stages with this. And some people have had lots of experiences, and for some people it's a very brand new experience. So yeah,
I just recently interviewed a gentleman. I won't say his name on the air because he may not want me to, but he basically told me that he went on a ghost hunting adventure with U2, and it changed his whole world after that.
Oh,
what did we do this time? What the hell did we do?
No, because he always was like a fringe paranormal, I guess, enthusiast. And he went to Maitland Jail with U2 and had an encounter or an experience. And it just kind of led him down the rabbit hole of the paranormal and the unknown.
Oh, that makes me happy that the thought that we've put somebody's feet on the path of exploration. And we don't say to people, this is what happens, this is what happens. We give them possibilities, ideas, and then we say, you now go and research yourself, find your own truth.
What's the general, I guess, reaction for someone who's a non-believer when they go to one of your ghost hunts? Is it like paradigm breaking? Like, how many paradigms have you just seen shatter right there in front of you?
When we break the skeptics.
Yeah.
The thing is that we allow the skeptics to be skeptics, and we're sort of not scared of them. It's not like we actually say to the groups always, is there anyone here that's a skeptic? And you know, someone might put their hand up, or someone might shove somebody's hand up, and we'll go, That's cool. That's fine. We're actually quite skeptical about all of this as well. We're looking for proof in some way, shape, or form. So just stay open, and we just ask people not to interfere in the process, so they can be really, really skeptical, but not to stand there and go, "Oh, this is a whole lot of rubbish," and "Oh, this is a whole lot of shit," because it just spoils everyone's experience.
Yeah.
So you just stay open for this short period of time. And if there's anything that you want to ask us about the processes of what we do, just ask us. We're free here and open to answer your question to the best of our knowledge.
And we have broken some people. There's been some, and it's particularly guys who are there for a bit of a lark or a bit of a joke, and then they have something that happens to them, and they come out at the end of the night and they're going, I didn't believe in any of this, but I can't explain what just happened to me. I thought this was all bullshit. I thought it was all bullshit, but it's not. And you can see their eyes are getting bigger and bigger, and we just sit there going, eh. We love it. We love those moments.
We do have a caller. So I'll get
Ooh.
him live on the air. So caller, what's your name and where you're from?
Hi, my name's Lucy. I'm from Brisbane. How you going?
Yeah, good,
Hi,
Lucy.
Lucy.
How are you?
Oh, so weird hearing your voice like on a normal telephone call.
Have you do you have an experience you want to share, or do you want your tarot read there?
I actually lived in like a house with like housemates that was super active. We had there was like myself, my partner, and like 3 other guys that lived in this house, and it was in like a normal suburb, Algester in Brisbane. And from the moment we moved in there, it was so bizarre. It was like a really dark house, if that makes sense. I don't know if anyone's lived in a house where there's not much light in there, but I think that contributes to the energy of the place. We had experiences in that house. There was, I remember being in the shower, and there was like tiny, like washing my hair, and there was like tiny little hands, like felt like a small child, like helping me wash my hair.
Oh, no.
I woke up in the middle of the night a few times, and my hair dropped. Like I used to have long hair, and I used to wear it out when I went to bed. And a few times I woke up and it dropped, and there was my partner was asleep. Like there was nobody else there. And from that time on, I've never worn my hair out when I sleep ever. We had an experience where, and even looking back now, like I'm a plumber by trade, and we had an experience where it was like if anyone can imagine, like those tri-level type houses where the bedrooms are at the very top. There's like stairs going down to a landing, the kitchen, dining room, and there's like a sort of spare lounge room on the second level, and then the garage and the living room go down even to the third, like ground level kind of thing. It was a weird house. And we at one point was like, there was like a down light shaking in the kitchen, and we all sort of thought, because we're all tradies, and we're like, that's like a little bit weird, but we thought, oh, it's a possum or something like that. And we're all staring at it, and it's shaking in the socket, and we're all going, that's a bit weird, it must be a possum, like. And then the second down light started shaking, and we're like, okay, maybe it's hooked a line or something, and it's shaking that line of lights or whatever. And there was like this, it was a weird house. It had this giant big chandelier like in the middle where the landing all was for the bedrooms, and it was blinking. And then we were like, oh, that's strange, man, like that can't be right, that can't be a possum. It got to the point where we were like, it can't be a possum. And then every single light in the house started like shaking in its socket and blinking. And we were all just pretty much shitting ourselves, like thinking, what the hell is this? And every single night we'd all wake up and it was like, do you know the sound like where it sort of had like two staircases, one coming up from the garage, another one coming up from the bottom lounge room, and then there was a landing, and then a larger staircase coming up from that landing up to the bedrooms. And it was just like every night it was like the sound of someone running up carpeted stairs, like up and down the stairs kind of thing. And we'd all open our doors out onto the landing and go, what the fuck is that? Like there was someone like running up and down the stairs kind of thing. And we all heard it, all five of us, and we'd just go, oh, that's weird, like, and not worry about it. But there was like multiple sightings of like, my mate used to work at the markets, and he used to get up early in the morning and go to work. Like he used to do like kind of a graveyard shift. My partner did he started at 5 o'clock in the morning, so he was gone. I was left by myself at home. I was working retail at that point. I was left at home by myself, and one time we came, I used to always be freaked out in that house because of all those experiences, and I used to come down to, like, run down to the kitchen, pop the toaster, pop the kettle, and then, like, quickly run back up to the bedroom and just wait for it all to, like, finish, and then come down, make the toast and eat it on the balcony up and near the bedroom. And one morning I came down and I could hear my mate down in the garage because it was kind of that time. And I thought, oh, it's sweet, I can take my time this morning. And I heard the chair in the garage, and he was sitting in there chilling in the morning. And I thought, oh, it's okay, I can take my time. So I took my time that morning and I went up on the balcony to eat my breakfast, and he pulls up in front of the house. And I was like, oh, did you just move your car? Because we lived on like a corner house. I said, did you just move your car? And he's like, no, I just got home then. And I said, oh, okay, well, that was the part I left out. I heard a voice say, it's all right, it's just me. And I was like, oh, whoa, that's so weird. Like, okay, mate. Sorry, my child's saying, put me to bed. Yeah, so that's why I never participate in these things. There's always a child. Yeah, but there was like all of these weird things. Like my mate in that house was sitting. There was two mates were sitting there watching TV. Well, not watching TV, listening to. They used to listen to heavy metal, and they were like sitting in the lounge room listening to heavy metal, and the TV was off, but you know how you could see a reflection. They used to. One mate was sitting there, and he said he looked and he could see a reflection in the TV of his mate was sitting in. Our mate was sitting in the beanbag in front of him, and there was like a bloke standing over him watching him. And we used to always feel like there was someone in that house, and he could see this bloke standing over him, like looking at him, kind of thing. And yeah, he pretty much moved out straight after that.
Yeah, wow.
There was like all of these weird things in this one house, and it was like I remember there was like this big ass kind of laundry thing, and every morning I was the last one to leave. And I'd get to this certain point in the house, the laundry was in the garage kind of thing, and I'd get to this certain point where I'd just feel like run, like that feeling of run. And I used to like lock the door and just slam it behind me as I ran out the door. And we had this chick come, and she did like I don't know if she was psychic, but she did like Reiki and stuff like that. And she sort of said, oh, there's, this Aboriginal woman I can see, this is where she was either shot dead or she was chased kind of thing. It was some sort of like residual energy or something that was on the land. And she said, that's the feeling you're feeling of run kind of thing. And that was really bizarre because it used to happen all the time. Every single day it happened to me, and there was no reason for it. And years later, I had a Reiki session, actually, and it was a different chick, and she said, there's an Aboriginal lady here, and I'm not Aboriginal. She said, there's an Aboriginal lady here, and she's got a baby. And she said you know about her, and she's been reunited with her baby.
Oh, wow.
And that's what that woman had said to me, is like she was running because she had a child kind of thing. And like it was almost like a settler kind of conflict, like they had shot her and she had a baby. That's what the other woman had told me years earlier.
Yeah, that's creepy. What a super intense house
I know, it was so weird. We were so glad to move out. It was like a year we lived there, and we were all like, thank God that's over when we moved out.
Yeah, holy moly, that's a long time to be in a place like that. For me, I would hate to be in a residence that was just so active, and like just everything being affected, like, you know, the lights, the everything in the kitchen, and then, you know, it seems to almost progress and get worse and worse and worse to the...
Oh, it's so bizarre. And like, even when I was an apprentice plumber, we worked at a place called Old Government House in Brisbane City. My boss took me there. I didn't know anything about the place. He left me up in this like weird attic kind of thing to like scrape stickers off ductwork. And he went down because he forgot something. And like, I turned around, I kept feeling like something's watching me all the time. And I was like, oh, you're just freaking out, man. Don't worry about it. And this feeling just got stronger and stronger and stronger. And I thought, fuck it, man. Sorry for swearing. I was like, I'm just going to turn around this one time, and there's not going to be anything there. Don't worry about it. And then don't think about it again. I turned around, and there was dead set this old-fashioned guy standing there in like a top hat. He sort of looked like, you know, in the movies where you see like that hologram kind of looking figure. And he was just standing there looking at me, and I just freaked out. And it was like a really old building where the staircase to the attic was almost like a ladder type thing. And I reckon I scaled that ladder in about like 2 seconds and legged it out of there. Anyway, I said to my boss, he goes, oh, you look like you've seen a ghost. And I was like, he was pretty rough, my boss. And I said, oh, fuck, I have, mate. Like, I don't know what to tell you, but there was something there. And then he was sort of freaked out because he had heard all these stories about this renovation of Old Government House, how all these like accidents, like workplace accidents were happening there. Apparently this little girl drowned in a well, and there was like all this weird shit that had gone on during the renovation, and people were getting hurt and all kinds of stuff. So it was really weird. And from that day on, whenever they said, oh, we've got to go to the Old Government House, I was like, nah, someone else can do that job. Yeah. I'm not doing it. But yeah. But yeah, I sort of reached out to Sarah when she did the show with you last week. If Gary and that are listening, one of my girlfriends has had an experience at that Hickey's Falls. She, yeah. I don't know if you guys have heard that. Well, you would have heard that woman's experience in Hickey's Falls. My girlfriend is Indigenous, half Indigenous, and she went there with her caravan, just pulled up there one night with her partner on the way, just sort of passing through. And it was that same year that woman had that experience, and she had pulled up and she went out for a wee in the middle of the night, and all her yowie stories start with, I went for a wee in the middle of the night. And she said that she got out of the caravan, went to do a wee, and she had this mind speak, well, what I can perceived as a mind speak type of thing. She had like a voice come into her head and say, "Get out of here, you shouldn't be here." And she said, and I thought it was really fucking weird, but I was like, all right, well, I've had a few drinks. I actually can't drive right now. We'll be gone first thing in the morning. And I sort of thought, because I had heard the Hickey's Falls thing, and I said, I sent her the link to the AYR story, and I said, hey, have a listen to this, mate. And she said, holy fuck, man. Like, she was like, that visual, that whoever's drawn that is exactly what I saw in my mind's eye. She said, that pathway going up to that thing, that's exactly where we were parked. We pulled up and there was no one else in the car park. That's exactly where we were parked. And that's exactly what I kind of perceived in my mind's eye. There was something standing up there, something big. But I just heard what I heard in my mind's eye kind of thing. And I was like, well, that's weird, man.
Yeah, no,
So,
that's creepy. That's creepy. But what I would love for you to do is, are you able to email me about your encounters? Because I'd actually love to chat with you more.
sure.
Yeah, awesome. I would love to do that, just because we're running out of time tonight. And
That's all right.
yeah, I would love to chat to you more about your house, because I have a million questions for you.
Okay, no worries. Sorry, I'm probably rambling a little bit, but I listen to you and Sarah and Gary and Dean and Buck all the time, and I always think these things, but I never actually call up. I'm one of those people that just goes,
well, you need
people
to also...
think it's dumb or whatever, you know?
No, not at all. Not at all. You need to definitely email me and telling me you need to also subscribe to the True Hauntings podcast and check them out too.
Okay, no worries. I'll go put my kid to bed now.
No worries at all. Thanks for calling in. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Catch ya.
That lady needs her own show. She's got so many stories to tell.
I know. Wow, all the things that are happening to her. How unreal.
Yeah.
Wow, that's fantastic.
What's your take on houses like that? Like where that action is like so intense, so I wouldn't say violent, but like full on, where things are shaking and there's bodies, well, not like dead bodies, but like bodies being seen, like figures and stuff like that. Because is it a poltergeist? Is it something else? Could it be a collection of things? And I know we're only speculating here, but if there was anyone to ask this type of question, you two would probably be the perfect ones to ask that.
Look, there's so much to unpack from everything that was going on there. There was a lot of phenomena. There was a lot of different people living within the house. We didn't get the opportunity to ask her any questions that could have helped us maybe dig down into what was happening there. What was the emotional state of the people in the house? What was the relationships amongst her and her boyfriend? What was her state of mind that she had fear? How old was she at this time? There is so much, isn't there, Renata?
I'd be first looking at the history of the place, and it may just be a normal house in a normal suburb, but you'd have to dig deeper to see what was there prior to that, and the history of the location too. Because if she's mentioning things that are Indigenous, it may have been a populated area by the local Indigenous people at that point, and so people have come in and literally pushed them out and turned it into a suburb. And so that would also hold a lot of residual energy and land spirits and all of that sort of stuff that has now been sort of interrupted.
And as the sensitive that came in said, it could have been a residual energy, which is just like playing a movie back, where you can see the people, you can see them interacting and doing things. You can talk to them, but they're not going to react to you because it's only an imprint. It's not an intelligence. So was it some sort of residual thing that was going on there? There is just so much that was to report. Or is it somebody in the house that has the psychokinetic ability, a psi ability, that is actually causing it themselves?
blowing my mind with thoughts like that. But believe it or not, we've already reached the end of the show.
Already?
What?
Yeah,
What?
1 hour. It just cruises through so quickly. So before we head off tonight, you
Yeah.
have to give yourself the world's biggest plug. Everything that you do, because you two do so much in the world of the the weird and the wonderful. So let everyone know the 28,000 different places that they can find you,
Oh, yeah.
because there's a lot.
Well, first and foremost, please, guys, subscribe to the Believe podcast, because I believe it's an awesome podcast, and I know it's an awesome podcast. But also, we have our own podcast called the True Hauntings podcast, and that's also available on Spotify and iTunes. Although Spotify's getting a bit of a bad rap at the moment, but we won't mention that.
It's on many podcasting places, but they're two of the main ones.
And we normally put them out every Friday. Unfortunately, there's been a bit of a hiccup this week, but there are 50 odd episodes that you can catch up on. And if you look, it's True Hauntings by Human Labs, and it comes out every Friday with a new episode. We also have the Anne and Renata Facebook page and community page, where you will find different tours and things that are on that we both run. There's also the Newcastle Ghost Tours page, where we have tours that are run through Newcastle Ghost Tours, which is what I do. Anne has Oz Paratech, so Anne sells all of the tech gear. So anyone out there who has a paranormal team or is really, really interested in the paranormal, if you go to Oz Paratech,
OZPARATECH.com.
Yep, you will find a very schmick and updated webpage.
Just been done.
Where you will find all of the ghost hunting equipment that you see on TV. And the good thing is that Anne knows about the gear. So it's not only that she sells the gear, she actually knows how to operate it. So she can always give you the information that you require about what you're needing, at what particular level you are at.
And we also have the Anne and Renata Ghost Hunters YouTube. Please come over and subscribe to that. We would really appreciate it. And we have a tour coming up that we're taking people to Norfolk Island, the most haunted island in the world, and we do have vacancy left for the long weekend of the 27th to the 30th of May. So you can check out the Anne and Renata page that has all the information. We are running a workshop on introduction to paranormal investigation and ghost hunting, where we are not looking through any sort of particular bias. We are looking through science and logic to explain to people the world of ghost hunting and paranormal investigation. You can find that on the Frightfully Good School of Ghost Hunting. What else have we missed out?
Oh, Ghost Hunting 101, have you mentioned that? Ghost Hunting 101, the 3-week.
That's what I was just talking about.
Sorry.
She was obviously listening. But we do live shows on Thursday night. We do a live show for America on the Spirit Realm Network on Fridays. And we try to put out I Want to Be a Ghost Hunter, little tips and tricks on YouTube every Monday at midday. We have Anne and Renata's Misadventures, where we travel around the world when it's not bloody Rona, and we will explore the most haunted locations in the world. And we just booked our trip for April. We're going in 8 weeks. And we are actually going to do the Naughty and Haunted Road Trip of England, where we are going to start off in Shitterton, and we were going to end up in the town of Twat, but unfortunately Renata's not very good at wet passages. She won't go across on the ferry boat to Twat. So we're going to end up probably in Licky End or something like that. But there is a whole heap of towns in England that have very naughty names. And this is where we discovered tonight that you do not search in the Google bar. What interesting things can you see between Minge Lane and Licky End? Do not type that in. There was some very informative stuff that came up that is not of interest to us.
No.
But that will go up on YouTube on our misadventures eventually. We'll do lots of live feeds. So it's going to be hilarious.
Yeah, no, everything you do is it's really great, and it's really enjoyable to watch. So like I said earlier, I love tuning in for your tarot readings. My wife's the biggest fan. She even signed up to do like the little stars things to
oh,
send to you.
We
So,
need stars at the moment. We didn't realise how expensive England was until after we booked the flights. We made the mistake
Yeah.
of going through school holidays and Easter. Everything's
Oh,
triple the cost.
yeah, absolutely. Rookie error there, but yeah, absolutely check these ladies out. They do such a fantastic job on everything that they do. Go subscribe to their podcast because perfect time to go check out a new show. Believe is taking a break for a little while I get season 14 ready to rock and roll. So you'll have about a month or so to explore all these new wonderful shows. And yeah, True Hauntings is one that is always right at the top of my list. So go check them out. But that's pretty much it for tonight. Thank you so much for your time. I know it is a new experience with all the call-ins and stuff happening, which hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I know I enjoyed it.
Oh,
It was
absolutely.
it was fun. It was fun, and it's always great catching up with you. But that's pretty much it for tonight. So my final little plug for the night is this will be available free on our Facebook and our YouTube for 24 hours. So if you're only jumping in now, you can go back and watch the replay once it's finished. Otherwise, it will be going on to Believe Plus, and you can join that for $5 a month. Get early access to episodes, bonus episodes just like this one, and a whole bunch of video content if that's your thing. So that's pretty much it. Anything else you guys wanted to say before we head off for tonight?
Oh, we've got a new episode coming out with the Buttsman for those who like to watch Isaac Butterfield. He has done some more filming. We were up in Queensland a couple of weeks ago and we filmed an episode at the Ernest Junction Tunnel and also a private case. So they will be two new episodes. So check out the Buttsman, Isaac Butterfield comedian, and his YouTube series, The Devil's Advocate, and we are the Ghost Grannies.
Lovely. He's actually in my neck of the woods this week.
Yeah.
Might catch up for a beer with him.
Yeah, right now he is there.
Yeah. So he'll be sweating his balls off. So he can join the pain of everyone else who lives in Cairns.
Yeah.
But thank you for everyone who's tuned in tonight. It was an absolute pleasure. Thank you for everyone in the chat. You sent it gangbusters. And thank you to oh my gosh, I think it was Lisa who called in. I feel if that was not your name, I'm so sorry. I haven't got like anything written down in front of me, but thank you so much for calling in. And please email me because your story was creepy AF and I'd love to talk to you more about it. But for now, thank you everyone. And we'll catch you on the next live stream.